So, welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte, and this is the Mind Body Spirit Center. So, the title of our talk today is The Breath That Sustains Us. You're going to hopefully walk away with understanding how important that breath is to life and the circulation of this entire world. Everything breathes. I hope we understand what rise means now. He said, push me down, I'll rise again. You know how many times we've been pushed down, literally? Now let's remember that and see how many times we rose. And then you get to say it. So we're going to start real quick with a short centering. Relax your eyes by looking into your lap or closing them if you choose. Now, breathe in really deep and really long and slowly exhale. You know, every breath is another beginning. Every breath is a nudge to rise higher than the fear inside you. That's what they're saying. Rise higher than the fear inside you. Everybody's got fear. Everybody's got confidence. But which one do you let rise higher? And I thought, see, we don't struggle, we don't rise just by struggling alone. Yeah, we rise by a little struggle too. We also rise by that breath, because you know why? We have this intelligence that's breathing for us. Now, when you have intentional breathing, that's a different one. But that beautiful thing that's called intelligence, Horace said it 1,000 times in the reading, the presence. He did that. He did my quote some justice. I know he took it apart literally to make sure it's understood. Because when he read it, I said to myself, oh, did I say that? You know what I mean? Because the intentional breathing is like an invitation to everything. It's an invitation to healing, to living. It's an invitation to rise. Now, the breath that sustains us is this. Ooh, this girl told me a couple of years ago that she had cancer. I went to visit her house after all those years, right? Since I've been back. And she said, it's gone. I'm in remission. But here's the thing. I told her when she first told me she had cancer, she was all upset. I said, now look at you all upset. Do you think being upset is going to help you rise up from out of this? So she said, no. I said, so remember this. The breath that sustains you is the same breath that heals you. As soon as I got ready to say this, I remembered her. This stuff is not something we make up. It's real. It's science. It is to be tried if you really want to experience. See, what we're sharing here is something we value deeply. And I just allow anybody to support it if they're fed by it. Now, our community actually flows, but it is sustained through our people like you and me, our generous donations to it. So thank you for your part in that. So with that energy, open your minds and your hearts to the breath that sustains us today. And then wiggle your fingers and your toes, and then come back to connect again with your mind, body, spirit. We need all three. And that connection, listen through it. See, before you consciously chose a breath, thousands of breaths already happened to you this morning. Life doesn't thrive through accumulation. It thrives through circulation. And circulation is the breath and a whole lot of other things. And the breath causes different circulations. The breath is like the wind on a flowing river. When that river is going, that's the breath of life, pushing the river along. So can you imagine what your breath is doing for you? There, like I said, this intelligence beats your heart. It repairs damaged tissues and it digests your food. Acknowledge it so it can move a little faster in you, because what you focus on grows. this intelligence has been forever from the day you were born, faithfully breathing for you all night, even last night before you opened your eyes this morning. That's still what people may call God, may call spirit, whatever. But I like to say it's an intelligence too, because the body to me is the most intelligent being on the planet. But there's some things you should know about this intelligence. And that means this. Check this out. It has never taken a vacation. It has never forgotten. Can you imagine if this intelligence forgot to breathe for you? Holy moly, would you be in it? It has never asked your permission. And also, the intelligence is breathing for you. Now, when you came into this world, the first thing you did was you took a breath, you inhaled. But I can guarantee you, the last thing you will do when you leave is let it go in an exhale. It's what I've seen. And most people, I don't know if they pay attention, because I always ask people, especially when I watch people, I've watched a couple of people do their transition. But here's the thing. Just Friday, I was asking a woman whose husband did his transition. I asked her all the questions. I said, so what did he do? And when I said this, her eyes lit up. I said, how did he breathe? She said, the breath changed. I said, you see, the breath is a powerful engine. I mean, this stuff is like, So there are so many teachings, ours and, Ram Dass and all these other teachings. But you know what? There's one thing all of us have in common. And we say the breath is life because it's a vital force on the planet. Science calls it the nervous system because that's what it is. The nervous system is what I call spirit. So I call it my oneness with spirit, actually, because I can understand it better that way. How can you understand it? It's not what I say. Now, when the intelligence breathes, and when I tell people this in meditation, I really mean what I'm saying, and some people really get it. I said, don't breathe. Watch the breath. That means that now you get to experience the presence, the intelligence, and you're saying, oh, you're inhaling now. I would have inhaled this way. Now that's what I call, and that's what is called automatic breathing. Okay, so that's automatic breathing. Okay, that's automatic. That's your autonomic nervous system, like science calls it. But now we're going to talk about intentional breathing. Now, amazing things happen in intentional breathing. Your ribs expand, your diaphragm descends, and your lungs fill, and your heart suddenly shifts. The breath is a powerful thing. It's doing all of this. So every time somebody's panicking, having whatever panic attacks or whatever they can have, and I'm sitting with them, I show them how to breathe. There's about 10, maybe more, 30 different practices of the breath that I teach, but it's so important. You see, what happens is that breath causes your muscles to soften, not just relax. They will relax them, but when your muscles soften, the blood flow improves. When the blood flow improves, your blood pressure is going to regulate. Your cholesterol, if you do it enough, is going to regulate. Your blood sugar levels is going to regulate. Because you're now intentional about your life. You have intentional breathing going on. See, there's a difference between autonomic or automatic and intentional, because intentional requires you. And if you're just going to go around living from lolly, 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 then stop it. And here's another thing. Now, the heart has its own pump. It's going to know, it's natural. It's just going to do its thing. And this is what I've been teaching in the last 6 months and the workshops that I give. But I'll tell you another thing. You have a lymphatic system. And that lymphatic system is where I'm researching on the research about how people are coming back from strokes and remission from cancer. But the lymphatic system in the different places that it's located, that one, it has no central pump. So you know what that one requires? Movement. And breath is one of the movements, but your body must move, especially here, especially around the hip area. You got to just move that body to let these lymphs spread, circulate. Life depends on circulation. If that's not circulating, it's stuck in your body. Guys, come on, get that body moving. The breath is the #1 partner in healing. Science says intentional deep breathing drives the vagus nerve. Now that vagus nerve is right in here, right behind the neck. That's a big, powerful driver. And then when it comes down, that vagus, oh, I love this stuff. That vagus nerve, all those little wires, and I call them wires, but they're really nerves. And they look like electricity. Everything is electric. And they run all throughout, and you just need to stay awake to them, aware. See, breathing activates this thing called rest and restore. And the more you learn about these breaths, the more you understand, I had a headache for a second. Now, okay, learn this breath. There's so many different ones that you do. The 4-box. There's another breath for that one. That one is really good for somebody who's got chest pains. Things of that nature. You have to learn these different little things. Now, also another thing about that rest and restore, the blood pressure starts to drop, but only to the level it needs to go. If you're pretty healthy and feeling kind of good, it's not going to drop too low. If you're not very healthy, it's going to plummet. So you got to figure out, how do I be, not how I become, what is my body asking me to do to become healthy? It's not about who could you tell me how to do this? No. What does my body need? And you see, it also lowers the stress hormones. Stress hormones like cortisol, that's the #1 killer. So you have to control that stress hormones, though it's several of them, but you got to control them. Your digestion with your breath really improves. I had the horrible case, years ago. I thought that I was going to have a heart attack. I was going through a whole season of the worst ever influx you can experience. And I didn't know what it was. I started looking about it. I started reading it and everything, and how to let my immune system catch back in, because my heart was suffering. And I just didn't want to lose it. And I would not tell the kids what was going on, but I go through one of those attacks and be like, hold on. But I didn't know about the breath yet. But once I learned that breath, I have never seen another attack. You got to learn that breath. The best part about all of this for me with the breath is that pain is easier to tolerate. Did you know that? So the healing processes, we got tons of them, are more available when you breathe. When you breathe, it's more available than you think. You got a lot of healing going on. It's already there. Because there's another important thing about the breath. It's not creating healing from nothing. It's creating healing because it's already built in you. You just got to use your tools to bring that healing out. I had the guy the other day, 3 months already. And the first month he was like, but it's nothing happening. I don't think I'm getting any stronger. And the doctor made a mistake on him, ruined his nerves in his lower back. And that's what brought him to me. So what happened was, I said, What are you looking at? You're looking at, because I'm telling you to pick up 5 pounds, you think you're going to pick up 50 next week? That's not going to happen. And I made him laugh and, humored him a lot the first month. But Friday, he said to me, it's been 3 months since I've been with you. And that cane, I don't use it anymore. I saw it, but I wanted him to recognize it rather than me say to him, hey, you don't have your cane. Because I don't want to frighten him. No cane. See, I teach, when I have each person, I'm going to do the breath to your problem. I'm going to do the movement to your problem, but you're not knowing that I'm using that because I don't want to tell people that. I just want to research on what your issues are, and then I'm going to come back with all the different patterns that we need to use. But the breath, what it does is it helps remove all the interference in the way of your healing. So the breath is inspiration, like Hara said in the reading, because the word inspiration really means to breathe into you. Now, it could be other words for inspiration. Other people use words like, oh, I'm so inspired. But don't you think about it? When you're inspired, doesn't that take your breath away? You got to think about these words that we were raised up thinking and believing and all. They mean stuff. They're like a spell on us, a good spell. So when I breathe deeply enough, and when I sit with myself enough, I feel things shift. And what I do, I feel myself soften, because I have to reach for the softening. I have to figure out, what do you need to soften you? And then I feel myself settle. But you have to work a lot with you. You just can't say, oh, I did that, but it didn't work. Really? And that's what Herschel, and that's what, I'm a 30-year-old, she's funny too. That's what she would tell me too in the beginning. She don't tell me that 6 months later. She's not telling me that. So I even feel myself relax better in my own oneness with spirit. See, this is where breath and prayer meet. See, breath and prayer is important and it's real. See, prayer moves things. But when you breathe with intention, your breath itself becomes a prayer. And see, if you practice enough, you'll know what I mean. But when I breathe deeply and I sit with myself, I start realizing that, hey, I'm praying without words. Do you understand? Because of all of the stuff that's going on inside the body from the real learning how to breathe. So when I'm breathing intentionally, I soften and my whole system relaxes. That's how I can sit with my oneness with spirit. But you can't say, I've been sitting there for about 20 minutes and my brain is so active. That's going to be your fault. You're not practicing. Because in that place that you really get yourself into it, prayer doesn't come from your mind. And you think, I got to think of the most beautiful words. But honey, let me tell you, when you start opening up your mouth and you're in that state where you have breathed that intentional breath enough, that prayer floats out of you like you would hear words coming out of you like even when I'm talking. I hear, and when I'm teaching, I hear words come out of me that I didn't even expect. But I never go any place with a plan. We're going to move like this today. We're going to move like that. I just go in there with my breath, with my oneness with spirit. And every time I'm done, somebody says, how did you know that I had a back issue? How did you know this was going on with me? Because I told her, I just come here and I just feel all of your spirit. And I feel the movement in the room. And that's what I'm teaching to. And I mean it. So one thing about it, this breath rises in your body. It moves. It moves through you. And when you really, well, you're going to heal anyway, eventually. But if you heal, if you're really doing this intentionally, you're going to heal a lot better and on purpose. Because it's not a technique or a ritual. It's not even a performance. It's just you and your awareness cooperating with your oneness. You got to cooperate with this baby. When I breathe with intention, I'm not trying to make spirit do anything. And a lot of people think that my prayer is begging God, and so that's not The thing is already doing. You think you got a bag out there. It ain't out there. It's in here. And I'm simply letting myself feel what this power of spirit, the oneness of spirit that's within me, is doing already. It's already doing it. I don't need it to do anything else. I don't need to force it. I don't need to keep asking. Asking is not the right thing. Curiosity is the right thing. And when you choose the breath with intention, when you intentionally choose to breathe, you feel a quiet shift softening and settling you. You even get to realize your oneness with spirit has been there all along, settling inside. That is why I have this presence. And I know I have the presence when I walk someplace, because I know that breath has got me all the way to this practice. Through practicing all these years, this breath has pulled me. So let me tell you a little bit about insights. Insights mean you get urges, you get the feeling you should turn right when you should have turned left or whatever. Those are insights, but they come very well and much better when you learn how to practice really taking time with you and your breathing, and don't give in to that noisy stuff that you keep claiming, because if you're going to keep claiming your mind is noisy and you got the squirrel mind and all that, it's going to keep giving you your squirrel mind and giving you the noise. But you know what? Don't be surprised when you get clicked and you find out those insights. You start going, oh, I want an egg sandwich. Well, obviously, you must need that, because let me tell you, there's certain things about that maybe you need that lutein in there, because there's certain things in that food that I have to study for myself, too. There's certain things that's in there that I have to eat if I want to do what I want to do. And like anybody should, let's put it that way. But insights will come to you in the most oddest places. See, I could be driving somewhere, standing online at the store, and then I go, oh, yeah, I'm not going to, just because I'm sitting down in the morning before I leave here and allow my body to just be here. No, I'm not expecting the answer right there. When I'm moving along throughout the day, that's when it's happening. Turn it, oh, don't go there. This is where you're going. I get urges to go places I didn't even plan to go. When the urge comes and the insights happen, I follow. I even followed the urge to eat something that I didn't expect that I was going to eat that day. And I usually plan my meals in my mind in the morning. I already know what I'm having for dinner today. I knew yesterday what I was having for dinner today. I have a special way that I plan all my meals. And I don't cook every day. I cook maybe 3 or 4 days. But my oneness never steers me wrong. So if I said I was going to I have beef stew today, I have these nice potatoes, made this thick gravy, but if something else comes up and say, eat that, I probably won't have that. But obviously it's here, because I need something. And the reason why it caused me to go out to get beef stew, and I'm not a big beef stew eater, is because maybe it's saying, hey, protein and fat, we're going to put that in this weekend. Okay, no problem. Because my daughter called me yesterday and said, listen, do you want some cheesecake? No, I said yes. So what did I have to do? I had to shift out other things and make sure I got the certain amount of protein. You have to pair food with protein to keep your blood working. Either thinning the blood or thickening it. It's working. Cleaning the blood, whatever. But many days I get a nudge to call people. How about that? Here's another one. I get this insight to call people, and I'm never wrong. I'm never wrong. They needed something, and I was either there, or I needed something and they were there. And I didn't even know what I needed sometimes when I called them. They say, so and so. Really? So it's a two-way street with people and me. Sometimes I feel, like I said, I'm driving and I said, oh, I'm going to go in this direction. Then I'll say, no, let me go this way and let the GPS follow me. And then it'll follow me and take me a different direction. Wow. So none of this is random. None of this is accidental. None of this is even a coincidence. It's your nervous system as well as your oneness with spirit speaking through insights, urges, and nudges. But you got to listen to them. And I know you've had that. I know you've had days when you, dang, I know it said that. If you've had that, don't ignore it and pretend like, no, I don't know. Stop it. Really let it come through. You're fighting so hard by saying, I don't know. Well, you just send it back further from you. See, the breath signals the nervous system with information that says, you're safe. I noticed that. I love what my great-granddaughter, she's 3 years old. And she got up under me and said, I feel safe. I was like, what you know about safe? But I understand what the system wants. Our system wants to feel safe. And the breath is signaling us. Now, when you hear that thing and you say you're safe or make you feel you're safe, that changes everything. Your body begins to shift from survival mode, which is survival mode is fight or flight, to rest and restoration. Remember I told you that breath is your rest and restoration. And it all begins if you decide to breathe instead of that panic. What's true in your body is true in your life. Because if you look at your money in your life and you panic by it, yeah, you stagnate in that growth right there. The breath teaches us that life is sustained through circulation. The breath circulates oxygen. Everything's about circulation. Think about it. The heart circulates blood. The lymphatic system, when we do the right movements, right, with the body, the lymphatic fluids, it circulates the blood. It circulates through the body, which heals, which gets rid of all that inflammation caught up in your body. Because a person who sits still long periods, you'll get that inflammation. That belly has the biggest, oh my God, it's the biggest part of all the lymphs that are not being moved. But the thoughts that come through your mind, they circulate through your mind. So much things revolve around circulation, and money circulates through economies. Don't you get it twisted. Because your money is called currency for a reason. In my house, in your house, we have electricity and it's currency. It's currency, right? It's circulating throughout my entire home. And by the way, money is the same living energy. It's the same living flow of energy. When you take the classes this fall, I'm telling you, you're going to learn how your oneness with spirit circulates through you in ways that you need to experience certain things in your life. You're going to learn how to live with this oneness with power. With power. And you're going to learn how to manifest with it, and you're going to be transformed by it. By the way, if money is a part of life's circulation, you have to ask yourself, am I standing inside of it or am I standing on the outsides of it? And you got to know that. Get in the way of money. If you want to attract it, get in its way. Stop waiting for money to find you. Get in its way. It's a currency. It's a circulation. It goes around. What goes out, what has to come in. What you never let go of, guess what? Money thrives on circulation. It's the law of circulation. Put yourself where it circulates. When you share value, everybody in this room has a talent that they can get paid from, but it's on you to go do it. You're stepping into that circulation instead of standing in line, standing if you're giving somebody some value. And I spend a lot of time giving value because I love what happens to these people. I feel so good to see the results come out. But when you bring value to people, you get paid. Money is currency. I'm going to say it again. And you need to get a hold of that one and stop going, oh, really? She's talking about money. Just don't get uncomfortable. Currency flows and moves. Get in its way. If you never place yourself where money flows, how can it reach you? How? Trust that every one of us has a talent, I'm going to say it again, that we can use to obtain. Because everything that we have on this planet is meant for us to have. We're supposed to have money. We are. Get over yourself and all the stuff that you think you used to believe. Just like blood circulates through the body, money circulates through the economy. And when you get in its path, whoa, look out for you. And how do you get into its path? Put a doggone business and quit sitting there. Make those phone calls. Oh, I know what to do. I'm gonna start making a class and I'm gonna do this. But you're gonna wait. You're gonna say, well, let me just sit back and let somebody else do it for me. Okay, that's on you. Teach some classes. Send some invoices out to people for some of the stuff you're doing. Offer your services. Make donations. Invest in yourself to get it to polish that stuff off. I spent a lot of money on me to get me here, to get me to understand the stuff I spent. You think I just learned this stuff overnight? No, I've been studying the anatomy because that's been my key thing. I've been studying the body. I've been studying the spirit. I've been studying everything about me. And you know what I learned? If it works for me, it's going to work for anybody else. And guess what? It does. Money doesn't come to people who wait or hold back from allowing it to circulate. You can sit there and keep on saying, I don't see it. I know they want $50 from me, but I don't see it in my account. Well, you keep looking in that. You need to go look at those phone calls. You need to go look at some other way. You need to get something going because it's going to flow if you're going to participate in its circulation. Other than that, don't worry about it. Because the question is not this. This is not the question. How do I get more money? That's not the question. Maybe the question is, what is life asking me to circulate and flow with my money? Get curious about it. Don't ask, how can I get it? Or can you please shoot it to me? No. Get curious about how you can be in this flow. Come to class this fall and learn some of the stuff about the law of circulation. When you resist the law, you experience stagnation. Any law you break, you're going to experience it. If I was to get in that car and drive when I shouldn't be, when I had drinks or whatever, and I'm going to get in that car, I broke a law. I don't always get caught. No, I'm kidding. But you know what I'm saying? That's you got to watch. We have laws, and money has a law of circulation. But you know what? The breath is the law of circulation. Okay, so when you choose to cooperate with circulation, with life, with the breath, and all of these things, life begins to move in ways that you may have never imagined. So when your gifts circulate, your service circulates. When your service circulates, your value circulates. More and more people are going, oh, this is really working for me. And where value circulates, money flows. Now check this out. The changes we experience when we breathe with awareness are supported by science. Science, science. This is not me. This is my research. This is many other people who love science and who bring this science to you. Your nervous system is not separate from your oneness with spirit because they are one and the same. Your oneness with spirit is one and the same. Your nervous system, it's the most superb. And you know what? It's the most superb expression of your oneness with spirit, your nervous system. Your nervous system and your oneness with spirit is your most superb part of your nervous system. They're both the same. So the moment you see that oneness in spirit is not really far from you, because a lot of people think it's up there and I gotta really scream loud to, no, prayer begins to take on a whole new meaning when you understand this thing has been here all along. I grew up believing that prayer was about speaking, asking, begging, and explaining, and hoping that God would grant me things. Now, I know there is certainly a place for the spoken prayer, but I have come to appreciate another kind of prayer, and that prayer is becoming available. That's what it means. Prayer is me becoming available to the oneness with spirit. I don't have any answers from the outside world. I need to go back home and sit down with my oneness with spirit regularly. Prayer is also listening. Prayer is creating enough stillness that the intelligence that's already in me, it has time to communicate with me. Because if I don't do it, it won't be able to communicate because I'm not open. The breath opens everything. And there are times when prayer speaks words. There are times when prayer speaks in the silence. And prayer is also found in the breath. Take one now. Now, here's another thing about the breath, because the breath and the prayer is one and the same too. The breath doesn't persuade God to do something. The breath is how you become aware of what God is doing. Just like I ask everybody when they say, well, I don't know if this is working. I say, well, let me ask you this. What's happened already? Are you still alive? Are you still here? Do you still have the will to keep going? What's already good? What's good? And I have some people that's what I have to say to. And when I walk in, when they first come in to me and we're having our first beginning to say, I said, what's good? Because I don't want to hear all the things that you still haven't seen the answers to yet. I don't want to talk about that all the time. I want to hear it, but I don't want to hear that only. As you relax into the awareness, things begin to shift. That shift not only is in consciousness, it is in the breath itself. Consciousness, breath, prayer. See, I brought another one in. Prayer, breath, and consciousness. When you practice breathing enough with awareness, something changes in you. You become calmer, more centered, more present, and more available to life, your life. And when you move through life from place to place, and from that particular place of calmness, you become hard to stop. Nothing's going to stop you, because the discouragement and all those discouraging things you tell yourself, that's not going to stop you anymore. You're going to hear those a lot. I keep hearing it too. Oh yeah, that ain't gonna work. Yeah, okay, whatever. I am going. When you're grounded in the breath, you're not easily shaken. Get grounded. You're calm, you're confident, you're centered, and you're coming from a different place. And then you're going to move through life a whole lot differently. And this is where the breath becomes something more than oxygen. Yes, it's oxygen, but it's more to it than that. It becomes awareness and strength. So now that you know that breath is going to do all this eventually, keep doing it, keep practicing. Don't do 1 day or 2 days and once in a while. No, that's not going to work. But it becomes awareness plus strength. See, everybody needs a place where they can grow. You need a place where you can grow. You need a place where you can learn and you can adapt to how the breath changes your life and your consciousness. So this way you can meet life's challenges. See, that's what this community is here for. You know, aside for us taking care of all the things we have to take care of, paying for, keeping Zoom alive and all of our websites and the things that we got to do amongst that, we still are here for you. Communities like this, they don't just happen. If this community has supported, inspired, or helped you see your life in a new way, maybe you feel the need to support it. And your gifts that you give, they help make sure we're here the next time your breath urges you to give, or your breath urges you to move forward and be unstoppable. because your gifts help keep this work alive. So thank you for strengthening the breath that sustains us through your giving. Really appreciate it. So as we wrap up our time together, remember this: the breath that sustains us pulls us. So listen to this one. The breath that sustains you pulls your strength out of you. You can do this. Use your breath when fear tries to hold you. Let the breath take care. Let it loosen that grip, because practicing, the more you sit with yourself, asking in very curious ways, not in beseeching and pleading and begging ways, in self conversation. What does this challenge want from me? That's all you want to know. What do you want from me? Oh, my leg is bothering me. What do you want me to do? It may not answer you in words. It may give you an urge, a nudge, or something. The quantum field is always supporting you with the breath that sustains us. So come on. So the breath that sustains us all is what we want to make sure that we take the next couple of days and weeks just to think about it and breathe into it. And with that, when we meet again, let's make sure you have been doing it. And so it is.